Hi parents, we had such a blast and I was so grateful to be able to be the Bible teacher for your kids this week. I wanted to give you just a real fast video on what we talked about and some of the things that you can talk about with your kids when you get home. So the first night, Monday, we talked about this idea of hope, how Jesus is the living hope. We looked at our theme verse for the week, which is 1 Peter 1:7, and talked about how these trials that happen are definitely something that aren't pleasant, but God uses those things for our growth. And that if we focus first on the things that that are amazing that God has given as kind of a lens we look through, then it makes the going through the hard things way more doable. And one of the things I used, you can ask your kids about the donuts. They're one of my favorite foods, and so I looked through a circle donut to see, like, that's the lens I'm looking through. So reminding myself of the good thing and then looking through at the bad thing. So that was Monday night. Tuesday night we talked about an in-depth look at Saul. In the New Testament, Saul was kind of knocked off his horse in some sense, and Jesus got his attention. And the point there was that Jesus, if you encounter Jesus, it changes you. And then looked at what happens after that point. Then Wednesday, we looked at running the race and discipline and training and things like that, and looked at how Paul, who was Saul, said that he doesn't just run aimlessly. He uses self-control. He uses discipline. And at one point I showed a video of this little iguana from Planet Earth, I think it's called, the series, where it's running away from these snakes and just talking about how it needs to be disciplined, and we need to be disciplined, and we need to not turn to the right or the left or not go towards things that are dangerous, but instead to keep our eyes fixed forward and move towards Jesus. And then on Friday, we talked about the idea of finishing well and how some people in Scripture finish well and some people don't finish well, that we see as an example. And in life too, some people finish well and some people don't. And we told some stories, and we had some good illustrations. At one point here, right on the stage where I'm standing, I had one of the summer staff where I tried to yank him up to this part up onto the stage, and I couldn't do it. And then he, with very little effort, tried to pull me down off of the stage, and he could. But then I had about 10 big guys come up on the stage, and their only job was to keep the other guy from down here from pulling me off the stage, and we ended up yanking him up onto the stage instead, and showing the importance of how we need to have people in our lives that are helping us to move towards Jesus and calling things out and being in that community, how important that is. So it's just been such a joy and such a pleasure to get to know your kids. We've had a blast this week, and we really want to thank you for sending them. You can choose a lot of things with your money and with your time for your kids, and we just don't take that for granted. It's such an honor to be able to point them to Jesus. So if you ever have any questions about camp, please reach out. We'd love to chat.